Hello there, thanks for playing World of Tanks and thanks for taking a look at this World of Tanks video. I wanted to show you my setup here for the Ragnarok at this point in time. Wanted to do a kind of a secondary review of it today, and it's more of a just more gameplay footage, just to give a stronger sense of than the video that I put out yesterday. Of how the vehicle performs, what it's capable of, and I think especially in the second match that's depicted here later on, a little bit of the limitations of the vehicle as well. So you can see it's pretty mobile, pretty fast, got a good high speed. One thing to keep in mind, I think this is a tier 9 match. The next one I think is a tier 8 match, at least in terms of the high tier for the matches. This is still during the +1 -1 matchmaking event, and also during the loaded dice. You see here, it is fairly accurate at range. Got some pretty good shots there early on against that light tank. Let's see, so what do I have in terms of equipment now? I have the coated optics, the vertical stabilizer, and the vents. And as you're able to see, my crew is finishing up with recon. Already does have situational awareness. Both of those increase view range, or spotting distance, if you will, or whatever it is. The crew right now does not have brothers in arms, so the vents are not at their fullest potential. And of course the crew does have camouflage that helps out here. And I really do think that the coated optics is a really good way to go with this vehicle. I think, you know, it's what, a tier 7 hull, maybe tier 7 armor generally, in a vehicle it's tier 8. So even if it's top tier, it's still playing against a bunch of tier 8s, and outside of the +1 -1 matchmaking event, it's gonna see up to tier 10s. And that prospect is kind of daunting with the armor that this vehicle has. So it's making use of coated optics, and of course at least the camouflage skill, situational awareness, and recon. At least those things. Those are going to be good to help you play against those tier 10s at distance. Also the tier 9s. That was a Leopard prototype. Dealt almost 400 damage to me, which I guess is normal damage for the prototype. It's with this kind of armor, it's kind of a big deal. And you see here, this vehicle has 1,420 hit points, 1,420 hit points. The Tech Tree T-34-100 in the Czech line, tier 7. The highest package, or at least the package that gives it the most hit points, has 1,100 hit points. So they do increase the hit point total for this vehicle from the Tech Tree T-34-100 by 320. You're going to see here I'm spotting up these enemies, or at least I do get a lot of, maybe not those enemies right there right now, but I have 1,412 total assist damage, and most of that is spotting assist damage. Yeah, it looks like I have one track assist hit up there in the ribbons. So most of that assisted damage is spotting assisted damage. I really do think it's valuable to, in this match and just generally, to help this vehicle out with the view range. You're gonna see more in this match kind of a demonstration of the value of being able to use this vehicle at some kind of range. I wouldn't call it a long range or a sniping kind of a vehicle. has that .38 accuracy rating, which is kind of at the low end for mediums, at least in the kind of the middle and upper tiers. A lot of times you want to get no worse than like a 0.5 or a 0.35 or a 0.36 kind of accuracy. Once you get into 0.37 and 0.38, that's getting pretty bad for mediums in the upper tiers. But it does do pretty good at medium ranges. And again, you'll kind of, one of the things you'll see in the next match is that it is really important, even in medium ranges, to give the reticle time to bloom in. Now here I should have kept pushing forward on this guy. Took it easy there for a little bit, hoping that he would just kind of come back forward and give me another shot, but he held back, which was smart. My allies ends up getting the kill right there. That heavy metal 58. So yeah, in this match you saw some of the benefits of using the increasing the view range for spotting, and also for your own purposes, for being able to see the enemies out of range for yourself, for your own shots. And then the next match we will see here in a little bit, kind of some examples of why keeping that range is so important, and also, as I was about to say a little bit ago, like how and why it's really important with this vehicle to allow that reticle to zoom all the way in, you know, or at least as close as possible. Sometimes you just kind of have to get out of the way of something and don't have time to sit there, so whether you just shoot not fully zoomed in or you refrain from shooting. And I want to point out this vehicle does have pretty remarkable earnings potential. Of course, everybody knows that it has these new red vehicles. In case you didn't know, now you do. That these new red vehicles, 3 of them. There's the new KV5, the new IS6, and both of those are like regular Tier 8 matchmaking. And they have different names. I don't recall those at the moment. I think the IS6 is the Hydra, the KV5 is the Minotaur, the Minotaur. There you go. This one, the T-34-100, of course, it's the Ragnarok. With these new red vehicles, each has a 25% silver earnings bonus, just as part of the bonuses of being the premium vehicles. And they are all Tier 8 vehicles with regular matchmaking. They all stay up to Tier 10 during regular matchmaking, normal matchmaking, if you will. During these +1, -1 events, they are they see no higher than Tier 9s. So, showing a little extra here of the time frame before the match gets going. I wanted to show you the way that guy clicks. I think that's a good idea. I don't really like the idea of going up to the northeast corner of this map most of the time, maybe all the time. It's maybe more viable at lower tiers than it is at upper tiers. At upper tiers, it seems like you just kind of get up there, and depending on how the other team plays and how your own team plays, you can basically be spending a lot of time to keep yourself out of the match, by and large. So kind of, you know, for people who are interested in dealing a lot of damage or whatever, it kind of removes a lot of the opportunity for that from yourself, and generally speaking, kind of makes you kind of a non-factor. You know, you're not really sometimes helping your teammates out as much and that kind of a thing. And then, you know, to the extent that you get up there and you decide you want to go elsewhere, again, you can be kind of a long ways away from stuff, and it can take quite a while to get where you're wanting to go. You can see those guys, those 2 destroyers. I think there's something else in there going northward up the 9-0 lines. So slow. We're down here having a fight, and they're like halfway to where they want to be or whatever. And here I do aim that fully in and get a nice kill shot, and I'm going to go ahead and reload. I think it, generally speaking, in case you're not familiar with autoloaders or whatever, or even if you are, I think it is really important to use any opportunity you can to reload your clip as much as you can. Spend as much time as you can with rounds available to shoot, and as much as possible more than 1, and also as much as possible more than 2 in a 3 clip auto loader. So here I'm going to kind of move into close ranges, and you're going to see, just because I don't have any shots otherwise, and you're going to see kind of the value of this vehicle maintaining distance. And also, we don't really know for sure where all of the enemy vehicles are at, so I could be kind of driving myself into kind of a situation of having unseen, undetected at this point enemy vehicles are pretty close, pretty nearby. Enemy vehicle driving in front of my shot there, that's always fun. So yeah, I took one shot, and then took a second one, and you can see, and this, yeah, this is a tier 7 and tier 8 match, so I'm top tier. You can see 2 rounds, and I'm down to about half of my health. Those are probably from tier 8 vehicles, and as opposed to 7s, and probably from heavies and mediums and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it's not like a tier 6 light tank shooting at me or something like that, but nevertheless, relatively speaking, it's an evenly oriented vehicle, taking about half my health in 2 shots. And here, I think that was all the way zoomed in. It took a little bit low, so you can see there that .38 accuracy. Not always really friendly. We'll see here after a little bit demonstration of why with this vehicle it is, generally speaking, really important to keep your reticle as zoomed in as you possibly can get it before taking your shots. I have the coated optics, the vertical stabilizer, and the vents with this vehicle. Definitely want to have brothers in arms anytime you're using vents, so that needs to happen for this crew. It also might be there you go, it's just out there. It also, generally speaking, might be a good idea to use, especially if you don't want to use brothers in arms or whatever, probably a good idea to use the gun laying drive to help that, help mitigate that kind of that .38 inaccuracy, and help that reticle to get as tight as it can, as quickly as it can. I think we're going to see here in one of the examples of the benefits of the damage potential of this vehicle. 320 is pretty good, 320 damage rating for this gun. The 3-round autoloader, that, so not only, you know, not only is the kind of the main feature of the vehicle that 3-round clip, 3-round autoloading clip, it's also the, like, having that 320 damage rating per round, which is a pretty big deal. As opposed to, I don't know, like 240 or 260 or whatever else it might be. That 320 is really nice. You can really clear out a lot of vehicles with your clips. That was a pretty decent shot. Now here, I think I hit rock right there. That's an example of the accuracy kind of working against me in there. I just decided to track the guy rather than wait for him to reload and shoot me, rather than taking my time there and trying to really make sure that the round goes into his armor rather than into the rock. Just go for the track shot and get out of the way before he was able to shoot me. And of course, it was probably a good idea to at least make sure I got that much and get the track assist, as I had allies coming around to take him out pretty shortly thereafter. Again, you see pretty darn good silver earnings here. And as it's shown down the bottom, there are no like silver boosts or whatever, and so I think that's just all straight tank earnings. We'll see here for sure in a little bit. I wanted to just sort of generally say that if you're kind of on the fence about whether or not to buy this vehicle, I want to suggest that it's a good idea just to go ahead and probably buy it. And my understanding is that this vehicle will eventually be, so 9200 base silver earned by the vehicle. My understanding is that this vehicle will eventually be available at other times, whether that's in like the trade-in or some other kind of opportunity. So, you know, if it doesn't work out today, consider getting the vehicle in the future. Again, if you're on the fence, I think that it's a good vehicle, especially if you're into the Czech line or if you're into Tier 8 auto-loading mediums. It's a good, fun vehicle to have. Alright, well, thanks for taking a look at this World of Tanks video, and thanks for playing World of Tanks.